Welcome, everyone, and Chris's black screen to the Will Reads. Yay.
Everybody's leaving you.
Yeah.
We're
back. Quick announcements, real fast. Quick, thank you for your patronage. This episode's for you.
Who are we thinking?
Quick.
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 Real quick. I just want to say quickly.
It's real
Just
quick.
say this quickly.
Really quickly.
I don't want to
Thank
linger. Thank you.
Thank you.
A quick
Thank
thank you.
It's quick.
Thank you. Raise your toast also. I don't know if Pythos is in chat. We did it last night, but I'll say it again. Pythos' mom. Pythos is one of our longtime patrons. His mom passed away. So
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
quick drink for him.
We raised the
Sorry.
glass.
Cheers. So we care about our Will Reads family here. So are you guys reading some sort of book series or something? At some point we're gonna talk about a book series, I think, maybe tonight.
Nah.
Also, quick announcements. We were supposed to have a guest tonight, but apparently Josh from the Black Tower had the blue screen of death on his computer.
Oh yeah. That's the best.
So we decided that it'd
You
probably
should
be
just
best.
at random pick somebody in chat and send them the link.
Yeah.
Who wants it?
Who wants to come? Who
My
wants to
cat
come
just
in
opened the
and be a
door,
guest
by the way.
tonight?
As soon as I said that, he opens the door and comes
Yeah,
in.
the
the
cat's like, I'll do it.
room. Yeah, for real.
Cat jumps up.
We'll send a random person the link if anybody wants to join us for some shenanigans. More than happy to.
Did Andrew forget to read New Spring again?
Yeah, Andrew's never read New Spring too, so that's another reason why.
Zul said it first.
So half the Black Tower podcast has
Right.
never read New Spring, and the other half can't get on the computer. So
I bought
we're
New
going
Spring
to-
not realizing it was in this big book set that I had until I was packing. I'm like, hey, we have
Millennials don't even know what the blue screen of death is.
Correct.
That's true. It's not as big as it used to be.
It's not
It used to
as
be in college. It was
Really
like
not.
a daily occurrence.
Yeah, you cried over it every time.
Yeah. What chapters
Good
we're on?
old
It's at the
Windows.
it's on the title of this episode, Kyle. So,
I
See-
may have went too far, but
yeah. See what?
This is why when we get greeted, it's like, good day, gentlemen, friends, and
Friends
Alan.
and Alan.
Alan's separate from gentlemen.
And there's a dark friend. We did get a really bad review.
Yes. I
I
About
don't know if we should-
time.
I don't know if we should read it. I like reading the bad ones. So I won't say who it's from because obviously I want to keep it anonymous. But
yeah.
I like to read some of these reviews. I don't read all of them, just because they don't get emailed to me often. This one did for some reason. They got emailed to me, like not from the person, but like from a service that I
The
pay
service.
for. Yeah. But anyway, it's a 2-star rating. So too many stupid sexual jokes is the title. I really enjoyed this podcast starting out as I'm a first time reader, but it started becoming ridiculous with all the sexual jokes and the stupid locker room humor. Like, we get it already. You think the taint word is funny.
Taint.
I do. And then it's I enjoyed the chapter summaries, but stupidity is seriously making me reconsider wanting to continue reading and listening to this podcast. Grow up already. Well, no.
To be fair, I'm not mad about it because there's not one thing they said that was
That was false.
inaccurate. I mean, the subjective part about what they like and don't like, that's,
Sure.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
fair.
it's fine. Fast forward.
I even have times after some of our episodes where I was like, man, all I did was say giggity that whole time. That was, but sometimes that's just where I am.
I blame Jordan. Jordan's the one who talks about bosoms all the time and spankings. I mean,
That's true. We do look for it sometimes, but there have
Thank
been
you,
chapters
Proudfoot.
where everything Jordan is saying is like, it's a reference.
Yeah.
you guys have calmed down since we started listening. Yeah, COVID was a dark time. So if you start during those chapters,
We like two of us were like bursting at the seams for action. The other one was having
True.
children. So like
Right.
what do you expect? And we literally did it while drinking and still do it while drinking.
yeah,
like,
but I have like one during recording. I don't get
Yeah, it's not like-
plastered. like
no, not like
during
we used
COVID,
to.
COVID, I
Yeah.
would be slurring my words by the end of
That's when people
Yeah.
listen more. We need to slur more often.
I would have-
had to work.
I would have
I can't-
1.5 to 2 bottles if I was doing wine, 1.5 to 2 bottles in an episode.
remember.
right now.
We would drink
Yeah.
and stay up to like sunrise talking on Discord every single night because we didn't have anything to do the next day because work was non-existent. I mean, we all got
For
paid.
y'all.
Yeah, no, it was COVID, man. We were shut down.
Yeah, I worked, and worked some more. I'm mad at myself. I did not take
shut
advantage
up.
of COVID. I was the dumb one.
Yeah.
I'll say this: I'm not going to stop the giggities, but being slightly more sober, there will be well placed giggities and well deserved. No, occasionally I'm going to force one in there.
No.
That's a lie.
I forced it in there all the
At the end of
time.
the day, we are who we are.
That's great.
No, I just like to read them. We did have a good one too. Let me go back. I did find a good one too. So let me go back and
Oh,
there was a
look at
good
you
one.
balancing.
Yeah, let me do some balancing. There was a good one. I got like a 5-star.
We might be millennials, but we're old millennials. Like we grew up around Gen Xers, so we're on that teeter. You don't have
forbidden.
you don't have to sandwich like compliment.
Yeah, we do.
Bro,
critique,
on a hold on.
compliment.
No, while he looks for this Arcanum Unbound, have you listened to it yet?
No, he hasn't.
Oh
Me, no.
man, just so many great short stories in there.
Good stuff.
And then,
Um,
yeah, I mean, I would skip anything that's like connected to other books in the Cosmere if you are planning on reading them because they are all spoily. But the ones that are standalones are still great. And then now when I read the graphic novel, like I think his graphic novel's got to be phenomenal.
Yeah, I saw you and Alan talking about it, but I haven't.
This one's from the
Haven't
other
done
day too. So 5 stars, great show. Thanks for the entertainment. Keep up the good work, boys. I'm almost done with Shadow Rising, and I've been listening along chapter by chapter the whole time.
Oh wow, so people do like us.
Yeah, so there are some like, and then also have a 5-star. Buy pills without restrictions, money back guaranteed, 30-day refund. True pills, no subscription required.
Are these the
Professionals buy this-
chewable ED pills?
Yes. So someone wrote a 5-star review for Viagra ad.
Yes. Look, when they come out with the gummies that are like, got the sour powder coating, maybe I'll give them a whirl.
It's great.
Yes, White Sands. White Sands is phenomenal.
Yeah. I'm actually listening to the graphic
ahead.
book right now.
See, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna listen to it. I honestly think that Brandon is much better of a writer than Jordan or Martin at this point.
We're on the Will Reads podcast, dude.
I'm gonna stand by that as much as I enjoy.
Jordan has better prose, but Brandon, I don't know. I like Brandon Sanderson, so I can't really say touch on.
Sanderson writes for his audience. I will say that, and I'm sure Jordan wrote for his audience. Sanderson writes for people with shorter attention spans that don't need the details because we can watch TV.
So there was an interview with Brandon
Enjoy.
Sanderson years ago, and I'll end it with this because I always thought it was hilarious. He wrote that like every person I dedicate a book to gets a sword. I buy him a sword, and I give him a sword as a gift. And somebody clipped that interview on TikTok and then showed, I guess, this most recent one, The Sunlit Man, and it said dedicated to my fans. And it's like, where's my sword? You owe us a sword, Brando Sando.
Yeah. Now he just needs to post a picture of like a couple of oscillating fans in his house with a sword leaning against it and a bow on it.
Exactly.
Got him.
Anyway, I will say though, New Spring, being able to read at this pace has been refreshing.
It's a treat.
It really has been.
These were great. Tonight's gonna be good.
So
Yeah.
in personal life, I am waiting to get sick again. Or at least
It's only a
someone in
matter
my
of time.
Yeah, it's someone in my household. Well, we went to like, so there's like this adventure park thing, indoor, like trampoline park with like obstacle course and a bunch of ball pits or like the big foam pits.
The one in Dimby, the Surge.
Yep.
That's the where one. That's where I got COVID.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Did you do it in the last week?
week? We did it on Friday.
Okay. Yeah. Norovirus and flu and COVID is huge right now in Hampton Roads.
Yeah, I know.
My
And
sister works in a lab. She said everybody that she tested is positive.
So the kids were all 3 kids were running around, jumping in ball pits and running around there, and it did not look clean. And then
kids picking up the balls and
oh yeah, and then eating pizza and like going back to it with greasy fingers and touching everything. There's smears on everything. I'm like, this is gonna be fun. And then the next day, my son had another birthday party at a roller skating ring, which those are notorious as well for being not the most. This one seemed pretty clean.
It's not so much the place, but it's wherever you have a lot of little kids. I mean, let's be honest.
Arcade games. They don't go to spray down those arcade games. The kids are like drilling and eating pizza with one hand, like playing the video game with the other hand. The kids all like it's like Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese.
Their fingers up their nose. It's up their friend's nose. Some stranger walks by. They pick their nose.
So somebody's gonna get sick. If they don't, man, we dodged a bullet.
Or you did a good job letting them be around the germs because they're having
that too. Well, we've had sickness running through our house the last few weeks, and I've been sick. My wife's been sick. My kids have been sick. So right now we're all healthy. Knocking some wood.
I'm throwing my kids right in the garbage can, like going in there and play.
Yeah, get all the diseases. But yeah, so that's what's going on with me.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Life is good. Work is, well, I could spend 10 minutes talking about the inefficiencies of government, but I've been busy because of it, because I'm a problem solver and people know that. And they're like, oh my gosh, we have a problem. Let's call Ian. And then they don't like what I tell them because generally the problem involves everybody screwing up. Well, and money. They hope by bringing it to me that I'm going to affirm that it's not them, it's some other department that's screwing up. But usually the result is, by the way, everybody that touched this fucked up. Everybody, including you. So there's that. That's been fun. The basketball games last week, first round of playoffs. The older kids team, they played really well, but they had one of those games where for the whole first half, they were taking shots they normally take and same setups they normally take, and they just weren't dropping. So many in and outs. I mean, in the first half, we had to be like, if we were 10% shooting from the field, I'd be surprised. And normally we're at least 50. So anyways, lost that game. The younger kids, man, this is the first time in, nope, that's a lie. This is the first time with children involved that like I guess you could call it PTSD. It's more PTSS. I have it managed now. I recognize when it's kicking in. It's the first time like that adrenaline, like just bad thoughts crossing my mind hit in a situation like that. Right off the bat, there was a bad call by one of the refs. It was only bad from his perspective. It was probably a good call, but he was on the other side of the court. It happened right in front of me, my bench of players, and the parents in this game for my team were all sitting behind us. So we all saw it. A lot of boos from the crowd. As a coach in that situation, my kids saw it too. They're pissed off. Everybody's emotional playoff game. You got to say something to the ref, but you do it politely. And as he's running up, I'm like, hey, boss, I know we're not going to get them all, but, you know, that guy really leaned in with the shoulder. And so he stops and very loudly in front of my players and the parents behind me. It was like, is this what we're going to do? We're going to do this? This is how you start this game off? Like he popped an attitude right off the bat. And honestly, not even like the PTSD, PTSS from Army stuff, but being that I'm from Newport News, you got to imagine the first thoughts that were going through my head.
Nigga, what?
If this was, I know for a fact, if this was my 13, 14-year-old boys that I was coaching, the game would have been paused and either I or the ref or both of us would have been leaving.
Yeah.
I'd have stepped out on the court and he would have had one opportunity to correct himself. But my youngest son is sitting behind me. You know, there's little kids. Oh, I just kind of,
I commend you.
Did the head nod, blah, blah, blah. It was, anyways, mentally I was out of it the rest of that game. Now, what really pisses me off is I don't like complaining.
Really grinds my gears.
It really grinds my gears. I don't like complaining about bad calls because there's usually you get some, you win some, you lose some. I'm always coaching my kids. Don't expect every foul to be called. They can't see them all. They're doing the best they can. But it became very obvious, like our kids go down the field and anything close or down the court, anything close to could be a foul, they're calling it. Down on our end, we're getting molested. And the refs are just holding their whistle like, looks good to me. Yeah. I've got one kid, 5 foot, 70 pounds soaking wet. He was near the other team's biggest player that was about 5'8", slightly taller than me. had to be about 170 pounds, and that guy tripped over his own feet, fell on the floor. They blew the whistle, and we're like, "What's this?" And they call it on our little dude, the smallest dude on our team, smaller than Ronan, said that he pushed him. And Hank's out there going, like freaking out, like, I don't know what I did wrong. So I'm just like, Hank, you've been in the weight room too much. And so like we're flexing. At this point, even the parents behind me are just like, this is absurd. So we were like laughing it up, but we ended up losing by 1 point. And yes, there were many other ways
that the poor calls wouldn't make. But.
Yeah, many other ways we could have won the game. Even with the bad calling, we could have done things different to play around it. But it definitely made a difference in this game, and I hate it.
When I tell you, I'm not the best. I'm just going to be honest with you. When I'm coaching, my mentality shifts. This is when you see the other side of Chris. And when my kids get taken advantage of, that's where I'm like, you return the energy that you're given. And I know it's not right. And I tell them it's not right. I'll be the first one to be like, don't do as I say or as I do in these moments.
Yeah.
Oh,
But then I find my biggest bruiser and I'm like, you see that kid right there? Yeah, the other big one. Make sure he knows you're bigger. Go get him.
Well, I have a really big
job.
guy on that 9 and 10-year-old team. And Chris, you might relate to this guy from what we've talked about. He's come to me after practices and games, like concerned, like he doesn't want to hurt people. He is twice the size of everybody else on the team.
Yes.
And when he goes to block shots, like he had a really clean stuff one time, but he's hitting down on the kid's hand that's coming up, and the other kid had to come off because it, just got a stinger from it. And my guy was crying. So could he, if I were to let him loose and encourage him to demolish people, he'd go out there and swat people everywhere. But he,
and see, this is the issue with my mentality. I was taken advantage of so much because I was that kid, that when I find that kid, I'm like, I'm going to foster a little bit of spark in you to where when the dog needs to come out, he's ready to be released. My sister did that for me in her own way. She didn't mean to, because she typically took the blunt of all of it. But she fostered this seed in me. She even nicknamed me the Bull.
There's a time and a place.
Because I would charge her, run her through. She'd hit the ground, and then I wouldn't wail on her. I would just sit on her and make her regret.
When I coached sailing, which is not the same as ball sports, our track, whenever one of my kids got in trouble and I would go into like a protest committee room, it was always like Gary Bodie or Don. He was one of the authors of the official authors of the official rules for U.S. sailing. Like he wrote the rule book.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always like
college.
You have no leg to stand on, because Gary Bodie was the head coach for the U.S. Olympic sailing team, and the other guy wrote the sailing rules. I'm like,
so what do
whatever they
think?
say is right, because I don't know.
We're gonna go with that.
Nah, I'm too argumentative. So
how do you even argue the guy that wrote the rules?
Look, the young kids playing quarters. Towards the end of the third quarter, I'd been trying to keep myself, and these refs were just taking over the game. Like me and the other coaches tried to call timeouts a couple times. They wouldn't even look at us, wouldn't take the timeouts. And then they were like coaching our players on the court, and we have a game plan, so that's already pissing me off. And this is playoffs, not the beginning of the season. And I stepped out on the court, and he started doing the coach, you need to get back there. And I was like, Coach, you said it. I coach them. You ref the game. Stop telling my players what to do. You want the ball out over there? Go stand over there and wait. I will send somebody to you. You don't pick who's throwing it in. I do that.
Yeah.
So that kind of hyped our guys up for a little bit, but we were so far. But I mean, we closed the gap, but it wasn't enough.
I mean, hey, look, 1 point loss is a phenomenal loss. That right there, it stings. And then
if you saw the game,
they're gonna come back harder.
The teams weren't close. What hurts is they barely played basketball. Our team was 10 times better.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'll stop. Y'all are ready for some Wheel of Time, but this
good.
this was Saturday morning, and I have been burning with it ever since then.
All right,
There's a lot of guilt. It still comes down to where did I let the kids down? Knowing that,
nowhere.
No joke, they were a much better team. Yeah. So not finding a way around that, I still feel responsible.
There are going to be moments in every sport where it really does come down to the ref. I mean, in track and field, it happens there too. This is an individual team sport. Like you
Yeah.
score individually for yourself, you win your event, you win individual awards, and then your awards contribute to your overall team. Talking about sophomore year of college, outdoor season, no, is it junior? No, sophomore. We're throwing hammer, and I throw one out there, really far out there. It was close to the school record at the time, and I was hyped because I knew it was either right on top of it or past it. I knew I was going to have a school record, and I knew I was going to win the event that day for my team.
Mhm.
The ref called a foul. The ref also happened to be the coach of the rival team that would have lost the points had I won that.
You like to think it doesn't happen, but
Oh, nah. When I tell you I went all the way the fuck off
Yeah.
in the middle of the circle, no, I'm not exiting the circle. You can suck my dick. When I tell you the coach had to come and pull, they had never seen me go off. He knew I was from Newport News. He knew what I was about. But
he's like, "Oh, I
don't
was
care
hoping we
about
wouldn't
the
see this
pond."
side. Here it comes."
He was like, "Shit, Big Chris is getting big for no reason." He was like, "Chris, it's okay." I know it's not. I said, "If you don't stick up, I promise you, you will pay for this too for the
So-
rest of your career."
Somebody's about to get
Yeah.
thrown out here. I don't
He
mind
never-
it being me.
Sorry, guys. Alan definitely lost. Do you know what? I'll tell you this much. If I could, I would have tossed them all in a pond.
Oh, I wish I could have.
Ah,
And
there
thank
go.
you all for indulging me. I didn't think I needed to get that off my chest, but boy, once it came
Well,
up a little, it
That's
came
what we're
out
here
a lot.
for. We're here for.
Yeah.
Guys, ready to talk about some Wheel of Time?
Yes.
My personal life doesn't matter, guys.
Oh, yeah, personal life.
No,
Yeah,
we're cool. We're
please.
fine.
No, you got
I
boxes
hogged
in
it
the
all.
background.
I
You're
have
moving out.
boxes in the background. So
Yeah, you got like, yeah. So just for FYI, next week we are finishing this book, and then after that, we're taking a few weeks off. So Chris is moving.
yeah, we're talking about 1 to 2, or we're gonna take a week off from Wheel of Time because the week after this, so we record next week. That following week, I'm definitely moving, and then may end up being continuing the finality of the move the week after that. So like I'm committing to doing Cosmere, as a special
Yeah,
because I don't have to do any reading or
as long as Chris is not
preparation.
homeless. 'cause-
Well, because like I'm not gonna have a computer hookup. I'm not gonna have a computer that like I'll be on a laptop doing Cosmere, and I'm okay with that
yeah.
because our focus is Wheel of Time, as you reminded me earlier. So, but yeah, like you can see, I've got all of those boxes. By the way, guys, are full of books, and most of them I bought at
books. Now here we're talking. Now we're talking. Books.
books.
Alan finally smiles. There it is. He's like,
Books.
all right.
Yeah, see, I got books. There's
I know, dude. Do you know how many boxes of books you have behind you? You have enough to fill a pond.
We have books upon books upon books.
I know.
Yeah,
you have
there's-
books enough to fill a pond.
Yeah, I got all sorts of books. Like
Oh,
this is my little section that like right here, and then Wheel of Time up there. But that's
Last happy
The
thought.
rest of them.
So if you're curious where Meredith and I are at, if you're looking for subtle hints, now as she comes by, she leaves random things that she might need at some other point. There's makeup remover. There's her toothbrushes that she likes to use, stashed away in the medicine cabinet.
Don't lie.
Change of clothes.
Don't
stuff like
lie.
that.
Ian Moonlights as a clown on the weekends. His makeup remover.
This beard is fake.
Go to kids' birthday parties. Like, hey guys, it's
Go
Ian
to
the clown.
kinks.com, type in bearded clown.
It's for his OnlyFans.
For the right price.
That's how
You
you
need a
can
bearded
afford
clown.
2 mortgages.
Yep.
So you guys ready? Pond water.
Yeah,
Talk
sure.
about
Yes.
some pond water. It's gross stuff.
It can be.
It can be. Pond water can be gross. Yeah, chapter 19. Pond water. So Moraine reaches the common room and goes to the stable where she meets the groom and saddles her mare, and then she rides out the gate. And that whole first line doesn't really matter considering it's actually what matters in this chapter.
I
So,
mean, great setup talking about
Mhm.
the stars being out. It's going to be a
Yeah.
nice day. Just going for a casual ride. Nobody would assume that she's going anywhere. Like,
She's planning as best she
smart.
can.
Yeah, she
I
did a
paid
good
an
job.
extra night. They're
Yep.
assuming she's coming back, even
Yeah.
if they look
Uh-huh.
into it.
And she notices 3 men that are there as well. They're kind of off to the side. 2 are Malkiri, one's Air Felon. And by the time they get to the gates, there's also several merchant trains waiting to leave. And when the gates open, Marines finds herself heading the same direction as the 3 men. They're a little bit ahead, but she happens to be going the same direction. So
She's such a creep.
because she's riding alone, she wants to keep her distance and stay back because 3
They could be
men,
brigands.
yeah, it could be brigands, could be all sorts of
She's
things.
also thinking about some info that she needs to
Mhm.
find out that she rationalizes she might be able to get from them.
Correct.
Yeah. But yeah, so and she's thinking, like I said, she's thinking about info and things like that. I guess she has a book of names. I guess Avin Sarar, whose location is written down somewhere simply as between the place where she's going. So, she's stopping some villages looking to see if she can find them, but there's no luck. She continues on, and at some point she catches up and catches sight of these men ahead of her. The sun's just setting.
She's kept them in her sight the whole time.
Yes.
But she's riding at a safe enough distance where she could just kind of like be near, but not near.
Yeah.
Kind of like a possum.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this.
It'll sail.
Unless you're really good at following folks without being seen. Once you've spent time paying attention to whether or not you're being followed, most people that think they're being sneaky are not sneaky. It's not that difficult to know if you're being followed.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Even on the highway of people that are traveling long distances the same direction you're going, just changing how you change lanes and change speeds and just watch how people react around you. You could tell.
Yeah.
You can tell.
I get paranoid when I'm following behind somebody too long. I'm like, are they going where I'm going? Why are they going the same direction I'm going? They better make that turn. They didn't make the turn. They're going straight like I am. If I were
I see, I'm
Land,
on the other side. I flip out thinking like they think I'm following them. They probably think I'm following them because I'm turning the exact same ways they are. Like I'm like,
I do that too. I do both. It's weird.
I'm not following you. I'm just going that way.
You also tailgate a lot, so they probably are freaking out.
I do tailgate.
You like the gas pedal a little more than you like the brake.
I do. I do. I like to go fast.
That's why he's got 4 kids.
I don't. I got 3 kids.
When in doubt, don't pull out.
It's 4. He just doesn't know about the one overseas.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. So yeah, I do drive fast, and and I will be that asshole that lets flash your lights until you get out the way if you're in the left lane going slow and there is no one in the right lane. It's one thing if there's heavy traffic. I won't be an asshole if there's heavy traffic and you happen to be going slow. No, but if there's no one in the lane next to you and you're just Sunday driving the left lane, I'm right up.
I'm that asshole.
NASCAR
Sometimes.
drifting. I'm
It
drifting.
depends on how long of a drive I have. If I've got a 5-hour drive and the speed limit's like 65 and I'm going 80 and you want to like get up on my bumper, oh yeah, we're gonna have fun for the next 4 hours. I promise you.
I'm about
You're that guy.
I even time my rest stops. Like, so in my mind, right? So Lan is traveling and he knows that she's near, and he's like, I can't wait to get her. I'm gonna get her. Just wait till I get her. And the rest of the guys, they're thinking it too. They're like, what are we gonna do to mess with her? How are we gonna mess with this woman? We know she's following. And she's back there like, yeah, I'm a safe enough distance away. You know, even if they see me, it might agitate them a little bit, but they don't think I'm following them. Yeah, I'm smart. You know what I do? I slow down. I don't brake. I just let off and I don't even fully let off the accelerator. I'm that person that like really lets off the accelerator really slow. So you don't even realize that you're slowing down until you look down at your speedometer and you're like, oh. Because, you know, people will naturally be like, let me move my foot to the brake and slow down. And then you get over and you think you're going to swing me. And then I'm like, and I take off down the road.
Plotting.
And then I wait because I do that evil thing where like I let you think you're going to whip around me. And then I fly down the road and you're flying down the road with me. And then there's a car in front of you. And you're like, oh, I got to get in front of him. And then I'm going 95, 100, 105. And then all of a sudden, I'm right beside that car, and what do? Match pace.
Yeah.
Because even though I threw shot and discus, I hung out with the distance kids. And I know if I want to box you in and keep you from the win, all I gotta do is get some unsolicited help.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta be careful around here. I mean, in bad news. I mean, at least if
Be
you're
shot
driving
at.
I'll say don't do that on 264.
on 664, down by Roanoke Avenue and everything.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
last week that happened. Some guy was trying to merge on, and the person won't let him in. So he took out a gun and shot the guy.
Yeah, well,
And there's that.
There's that on the interstate.
that's what you got to know, like real maneuverability. So speaking of which, I mean, Land just goes and chills.
Well, yeah,
like,
no, so he
stops
takes off and
by a
goes into the
pond.
woods, and the other guys take off running. And
Yeah,
Moraine's
Perfect
like,
setup.
that's weird. And Moraine's like, well, let me go follow the guy, see where he went. Like,
This shows
realize
her
they're doing this on
inexperience.
purpose, right? Like, this is like super obvious, at least to me, that like they saw you, and this is
No,
what
but
they're
her
doing.
confidence was bolstered. She walks in the woods to follow him. She's like, oh, this person's an amateur. Just super easy path to follow, broken
Mhm.
branches. Meanwhile, this
Yeah.
is Lan. So
oh
we
yeah,
know we know what's happening.
Land's like,
Oh,
come
yeah.
on in, little rabbits.
Yeah.
I'm going
So
to
he
snare
just
you
goes
in my
and
trap.
finds a pond and sits cross-legged, starts meditating, being one, just relaxing. Hands on his knees, cross-legged,
Hands on your
looking at
knees.
him.
Hands on your
Hands on the
knees. Everybody push an Aes Sedai.
Yeah, Moraine tries to be sneaky, and she sneaks up on
Loki,
him.
you
And
go.
gets up to the
Go down, man.
to the rock, and she wants to try to get
Wait
the
up.
she wants to get the sword away from him. So she channels to try to get the sword away from him. As soon as like the sword moves
Crouching tiger, hidden dragon. Oh,
a
like,
millimeter, I mean the sword moves a millimeter, and next thing she knows, she's in the air flying. Like he uncoiled
wanna
like a
see this
snake.
so bad. Like, I really do hope they do an adaptation of New Spring. And
Flashback.
yeah. Well, no, I want like a little mini series, and honestly, I kind of want to animate it, but
Yeah.
Ooh.
like I want it like anime style animated or something, because this would just be an absolute hilarious scene to see
Yeah.
her, like focus on channeling, and then the next image
Trying to be
she's
slick.
in the air like this, like
fly in the air, the
looking
water
down.
rushing towards her
Yeah.
face.
Yep.
That's what I want to see so bad.
Yeah. Yep. So she gets thrown to the pond. She stands up and just stares at him, and he's like, "Don't you know better than to touch a man's sword?" like,
Well,
like not even amused at all, not even cracking a smile. Being
Nope.
land, completely stone faced. Just like, now what you gonna do, huh?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
still a gentleman, and
Mhm.
almost immediately offers like, all right, I'm gonna get the fire
Hand
started
up.
and hang
Get
some
the fire
blankets.
started, get some blankets. Yeah.
well, first it was reaching down to try to give a hand up, and she tried to pull him down, and he lifted her into the air.
Yes.
That
So-
was the best part of it all. So like,
You
'cause
understated it. She was
It was-
plotting.
she was plotting to pull
She's
him
like, the least
into
I
the
can do is
water.
return the favor. And she's ready to
Yeah.
yank him down. But the moment
She
their
did a
hands came
pull-up.
together, she was in the air because
She did
he
a
just
pull-up.
casually lifted her out.
Yeah, well, she was pulling,
Yeah.
right?
We did already get this story where they talked about it in season 2. Like they said, do you
Yeah,
remember
that was their
time in the
chance to
pond?
flashback it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you said, remember that time of the years ago in that pond? They said
Yeah,
that.
well, I want a full-on animated version of this book. But anyway,
I'm with
it's
you.
not about what I want. But
I like the
in
anime
my
spin-off
mind,
idea.
it was kind of like a pull-up. Like she was trying to pull him down, and he
Mhm.
was lifting his arm up with her in it. So she just kind of pulled herself.
He was a
into him.
stone. Just
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's the contrast is, and I keep going back to it in my mind, to 2020 when we started this, or 2021, and we're like, she is a monster, she is a beast, she is awesome. And now we have this girl that literally is like
But
pulling
still,
pranks, and
She's
she's
a
so
man.
powerful
in the
and has
water.
tons of potential. So I was also thinking about in the regular series how we've heard from some of the Aes Sedai talking to new novices and other, like, about how useless swords are, and even talking to Nynaeve about, oh well, if you could channel
Mhm.
healing, why do the potions, this, that, the other?
Right.
And as the Aes Sedai get older, they get so confident in their powers that, I don't know, maybe they get a little complacent with people that are extremely focused and good at one thing without the power. If they're totally focused and well trained on it, like, it's still a threat. And this is Moraine's introduction to that. She knows she has room to grow in the power, but even right now, she's still pretty powerful. She could take on a handful of people by herself, no issues.
Right.
But Lan and his sword,
but being cut off guard by Lan, his cat-like reflexes,
right?
Yeah. So
only to find out, not to fast forward too much here, but only to find out that Lan isn't even the fastest at this time.
Yeah, he's not.
We
find
that
out very shortly. But yeah, so the other two guys show up as she's drying off. Even though she's already dried herself off with the one power, she's trying to hide it because she doesn't want to give it away. So she's still bundled up in the blankets, acting like she's still wet, but she's actually completely dry. Yeah. And the other two guys show up and they start talking, about what to do with her, and she kind of overhears them, and she kind of steps out. She goes, I like to parlay and invoke my woman alone right or something along those lines. Of like, and then Bakuma's like, sure, yeah, I'll pledge my allegiance to you. And Lan's like, damn it.
So real quick, small thing we skipped.
He knew what he was doing.
There was the two guys coming down. One of the guys, the younger one, little bit of joking around, shit talking.
Yeah.
With regards to Moraine. And Lan was
Sword
already defending her honor.
Yep.
Was already
defending
her honor.
Yeah.
Even after all of that, like,
because he's like, what she look like behind them curtains?
Oh
Can
yeah,
I see your panty lines?
Yep.
Yeah,
Lan's like,
you've seen a Kyrie in her too. Can I go look? And nope.
Yep. Lan was having none of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So yeah, she claims her right as a woman alone. Bukama pledges to see her safely to Chachin. And that night, also, I guess it's they start playing that game. This is where they play the game where they see who's the fastest to draw.
Yeah, that's how Bukama tries to settle the other two guys down, because there's that little bit of tension.
Yeah.
So he has them play their game.
When you have soldiers and they get really restless, giving them games to play is a really good way to diffuse a situation. So, like, back in the day, E was at this party. I threw a Halloween party back in the day, back when I lived in apartments. And somebody went to Fort Eustis and invited a ton of just E2s and E3. I mean,
it wasn't me this time.
No, this is before you were in the military. This is still college. Yeah. So, but they would invited a lot of these just soldiers to our party, and they all showed up. And like, as soon as they showed up, like, the keg kicked and it was empty. Yeah. So these guys were getting really upset because they came all the way from Fort Eustis to this house party, and then they find out there's no beer left because we drank it all. And it was, tensions were getting a little high because they were like they were already drunk. They wanted to start bar fights, house fights, and they're trying to start crap. So immediately, quick on my thought process was like, hey, empty keg. Hey guys, outside real fast. So like, what's going on? I was like, keg tossing contest, go.
Yeah. That occupied them for a while.
It occupied it for about an hour. Everybody calmed down. They just started throwing the keg. I was like, sweet. Yeah, same type of thing. It's get the play the game. Play the game. Calm down. Just play the game.
Look, competition.
Oh yeah, let's do that instead. You had a great time.
And there's ways to test yourself against each other without, killing each other. So let's try that first.
And then at some point during the night, Moraine, I guess they thought Moraine was sleeping at some point, and Lane makes some kind of disparaging remark. He's not talking to Moraine. He's talking to the other two guys, and he says something about Aes Sedai. He's just like, yeah, it could be worse. Could be Aes Sedai and something like that. And Moraine's like, all right. And just channels a column of water. And starts to just
friend.
Yeah. And she's sitting there like smirking, waiting for them to look at her like, like, gotcha. And they're just sitting there like just stone faced, like, all right, we're here, we're on top of it, like completely like on guard, like not like embarrassed or anything, just like well, that didn't get the reaction I wanted.
Yeah. Well, where they come from, they don't run into people playing games.
No.
There are beings out there constantly trying to kill them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So immediately they think Shadow Spawn. Like, what Shadow Spawn is this? And Maraine's like, it's not Shadow Spawn, it's me. I'm a nice to die, you idiot.
And they're just like, oh, all right, moving on. Like she never did really get the respect she was looking for. Even
The
when they found
derailment
out.
tonight. Wait, tonight? Like
Yeah, tonight's unique.
tonight's
We got-
unique?
yeah, I was about to
I think because we opened by saying these are fantastic chapters that they might have thought for a second we were going to stay on topic. Very excited about these chapters.
We're still
Also
over
very
eight.
excited about the 5,000 other thoughts that go through my head at any given moment. I have no control over which one comes out.
It's all right. I do a phenomenal job of getting us back on track, guys. I know it. I know
It's
it.
great. It's great.
Thank
I
you.
know
So-
it.
Yeah. So Column of
As
Water.
I
There's,
scroll through Facebook.
there's fish flopping at Lance's feet, and he's sitting there all in like warrior pose, getting ready to fight Shadow Spawn. And Maraine's like, "No, it's just me. I'm just pulling a prank on you guys." And they're like, "Why?" Like, and
Makes no sense.
they still didn't get the reaction that Moraine was looking for. Instead of like them getting mad or like upset or like embarrassed, they're just like, "Oh,
Yeah,
why would you do that?"
it's kind of
At
childish.
this point, she's just like, yeah, I was about to say, at this point, she looks like a child.
Yeah. Do you know where you're at? You're doing those games out here?
Yeah.
Dumb. Ain't nobody got time for that.
That's yeah. I've been there where I try to go into a very serious setting and try to pull something, and I just get the look, just like why? Like
Yeah,
especially work.
The balloon animals at the funeral. I know you meant well, but
Yeah.
it didn't
It didn't go over well.
go over well.
Sorry. I thought it was hilarious.
I mean, the guy got bucked off of a horse, and you kept making horses. I don't know why. I don't know why you thought people would enjoy that.
But however, the letters I sent you in boot camp, now that chef's kiss.
Honey, I miss you.
Oh yeah,
Oh no, they were a lot more explicit than that. But
yeah.
yeah, when
And
he was in boot
postcards.
camp,
So
I wrote him very, very loving love letters on postcards. So his drill sergeant would get to read it first.
yeah, she didn't have to open anything to read it. She could just read it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we all got
That's great.
smoked for that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. That's where these came from.
Yeah.
I got you to think out.
How many push-ups did
on
you
that
do?
backside there? Got a little nugget starting to form again.
Yeah.
We're getting
For a
there.
minute, I thought he was about to get up and start doing push-ups.
No.
Yeah, no respect for games. Definitely learned this by the beginning of the main story. I thought, true. Yeah, Moraine's a lot more serious and a lot more like no bullshit by the time of course they've been doing this now. And this is what 20 years before, or at least 16 or no 20 years. Yeah, Rand's 20 in the beginning of the books. Yeah, so
Yeah, I hate
20
that we're
years.
running out of chapters here because I wanted to see a little bit more of their time together, developing together. So we know where they end up, what they end up becoming.
sure.
I'd love to see a lot more of it, but I
Yeah.
feel like I'm gonna have to imagine a lot of it.
Well, so Robert Jordan was planning on writing, I think, a trilogy for prequels, and he passed away.
Yeah.
So he never wrote it. But it was also going to do more into Land and Moraine, and then also I think Tam, like the backstory of Tam. So, yeah,
Cool.
and then also he had sequels as well, but I'm not going to talk about those yet because spoilers. So, you guys ready for chapter 20?
Sure.
See,
Preface at Milan.
Full send.
See. Oh, see. I thought you were about to make a point like, see, the thing is. No, you're saying yes. Got it. Okay. Chapter 20. So the next
You know
morning.
that like Spanish is his first language.
Yeah,
see.
I know. So the next morning, I guess they're having breakfast in this little town. Yeah, Moraine tells Lan, Bukama, and Reen to call her Lady Elise as they prepare to ride towards Chachin. Moraine spends more time speaking to Reen, who is very attentive to her and has kind of the hots for an Aes Sedai.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
He's trying to work his magic.
He is. He's trying.
And I think she is seriously contemplating. He's handsome, he's strong, maybe he'll make a good warder.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's looking at other things, and Moiraine's like, maybe
wonder how
he'll
he
be
dies.
good. Yeah. Well, they reach a little town called Manala. Manala. I don't know.
Mana, mana, dun, dun,
Manamana.
dun, mana.
Manamana.
That should be this song's or this show's theme song.
So they eat some breakfast, and then once they're finished, she leaves the inn where they had stopped, and the men didn't notice that she's gone. So and Lan's been impressed by that. She's like, huh, she was able to slip out without me even knowing. Impressive. Most
impressive.
So they
Which we're
immediately
not
go
looking
looking for her. They immediately go looking for her, and they see her horse is still there. It's like, okay, she's not gone. She's just gone. But yeah,
Baby gone,
So-
little gone, just
yeah.
a little bit.
So there was a good question in the chat. Was there a whole warder training school in the book, or was that a new invention by the main series? I never heard tell of a warder school, but
In this book, are you talking about later in this book?
it's just
Not in
says
New
it in the
Spring.
chat. So I'm assuming this book.
Oh, we haven't had a word training in this book yet.
Yeah.
And I'm
I feel
gonna
like
give away
Lan is
spoilers.
pretty well trained, though.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some ins and outs of wardering that he needs, but
yeah.
fighting in general, I think he's got that.
Because there was a comment about Moiraine going out to find a warder. Oh, so you mean like as far as being able to pick warders from in the tower because they're training people like Galad and Gawain.
Yeah.
They're training at a tower to go. So I think it's a mixture. I think even in the main book series, there's certain warders that the Aes Sedai have found and made their warder outside of that normal system.
Yeah.
It's a mix. What do you think, Chris? Are you sleeping?
No, I was sitting back thinking that.
You never know.
No, I sit back. I have my eyes kind of low. It's been a long. I didn't sleep all weekend. I'm super stressed, but
Feel you.
I just barely made it here. But I wanted to be a part of this, and my mind started drifting to other thoughts. So
Oh, do tell.
no, it has nothing.
Ever since I flexed a little bit, showed him that little nugget of the tricep, he got real quiet.
You got real
Dude,
quiet.
I was
I
like,
just can't handle that.
A little bit jealous. What was your question?
I was just joking out with you. I have no question. So Makama's waiting at the inn for Moraine's return. Lan and Reen go out to find her. Lan finds her speaking to a woman there by the name of Aveen Serene or Serhia.
He eavesdrops, thinking that from a normal distance, most people wouldn't notice he's eavesdropping.
Yeah,
When she finishes her conversation, she immediately
Right.
addresses him.
Would
Yeah.
you like for me to show you what I think of you eavesdropping?
But then he immediately asks questions that shows he 100% heard everything she said when she was trying to be sneaky. So
And
they're
then
kind of
trying to be helpful.
yeah.
but they're still showing each other like, hey, you're working on my level here. Like, no, you're working on my level. Like, no, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and Lan even suggests that like maybe her search go faster if he lets them help. And Moraine's
true.
like, nah, I'm good. And she takes off.
Nah, bro.
I don't need your help. I'm good. 'Cause there's still this tension amongst them that like this. I think they trust that they're not. They both think each other are not dark friends at this point, but there's
They're not
still
gonna
this
kill each
level
other.
of there's still this level of what's your end game? Like what are you doing?
Well,
Lan
Lan was
is the leader.
disrespected because she offered money with the request
Yeah.
for protection.
Yes,
So that damaged his honor.
Right.
And
But she didn't
still
know,
has this.
so
Well, she didn't know, but he knows, so he feels it, but he's not communicating it. But she also is, I'm Aes Sedai, and once they knew, it should have been blah blah blah. And she's been conjuring up ways to kind of torture Lan because of it. Well, and the push in the pond, get back at them. There's
Of course.
ants, there's wasps.
Well,
there's-
and so you got to put it from his perspective. This whole time, he still doubts that she's Aes Sedai because he's used to the still of an Aes Sedai. And here we have a young Aes Sedai who still hasn't mastered the facial expressions completely, who still is, I'm not going to call her quick to anger, but easy to anger, who is slightly manipulated, who won't use all of her resources to her advantage.
Mhm.
Like if it had been any other Aes
and she's still upset that Lan hasn't apologized.
correct.
right.
Yeah. So rather than talking about it, communication in the Wheel of Time, she just assumes that he knows that she's upset, and rather than just making it obvious, she decides to keep on pulling pranks on him, like making him itch into it.
I can't judge that because young Ian did stuff like that.
Yeah.
See, in my
true.
mind, I was
That
thinking
was
about
me.
that part, and I was thinking, man, it's cool how like the magic interacts with other things. Like Moraine can touch the ants and make them do things. She can touch the wasp and make them do things. And I was like, it's kind of like the aviatories in one of the Sanderson books. You've spoiled me, Alan. You've ruined me now. I can't. In my mind, I'm like, it would be cool if these magic systems were in these books. Like this is what I'm sitting here thinking this whole time. I'm like, what if they could do this in this book? And yeah,
Yeah, but you don't need magic
done with
to
aviary
manipulate insects. Have
I
y'all seen
drank
the
Kool-Aid.
Have y'all seen the video of that guy that puts a little crumb of food down on the ground, waits for an ant to come check it out, and then when the ant runs off, he picks it up, and the ant comes back with a whole line of ants that he just told that there's food there, and they're all looking around for it, and he's dying laughing. He's like, "They ain't never gonna trust your ass again." Like, yeah, you can manipulate ants. And I used to call wasp on my brother all the time. We had a like a old school clothesline in our backyard, but the caps always popped off, and the wasp would go in there. And whenever my brother was near one side, I'd run to the middle, grab the line, and twang it, and all the wasp would shoot out the pole, and whoever's nearby got stung first.
There's
Yeah.
there's a guy
No
on
magic
TikTok.
involved.
There's a guy on TikTok that says that, and he does videos, or maybe on YouTube. Might even be TikTok. It might be YouTube, but he does these videos where he goes up to ant hills, and he's like, maybe if I do it for enough generations, I can become their god. So he'll go and like throw something to the ant hills, like I am the destroyer. They'll take a cake and throw it in there. He's like, and now I give you stuff, like, and now I give you sugar and food, and like then I destroy you, and then I like. It's like, so he sees this big thing that destroys you and gives you stuff at the same time. Maybe they'll eventually create this whole religion around me being there.
Maybe.
Maybe after several generations of this happening over and over again, the colony, oh yeah, the big guy's coming. He's going to destroy us or he's going to give us stuff. I don't know. Like,
He's either going to break the world or save it.
let's save it.
Lose 7.
Or maybe he'll destroy it with the kick. Just throw the whole kick into the.
There's
destroy
certain
it.
things that I enjoy that if they were to kill me, I'd, put it on my tombstone. I ain't mad about it.
Yeah,
It's the way to go.
It's a hell of a way to go. I think the Monty Pythons did the whole thing in A Meaning of Life. Yeah, there's a whole scene about that. So you guys ready for the next chapter? Because we're here.
Yeah.
Chapter 21. Some tricks of the power. It's a
Not
fun,
what I thought it was going to be about.
It's a fun chapter.
No, we learned about some tricks in this chapter.
See.
See. So the trip to Chanchan is extremely memorable for Lan. Aside from expecting
Bugs
difficulties.
and waters and this, that, and the other.
Sand and
Yes,
this, that, and the other.
Yeah, because Moraine keeps on playing all of these pranks on land, attempting to extract an apology for throwing her in the pond. Each night, she has a different surprise for him. She flicks him with invisible switches whenever he tries to drift to sleep, puts sand in his clothes, ants in his underwear.
And he just
His
stays
He's
no
thinking
reaction,
like a
totally
G.
stoic,
Feel like he rode in the saddle dirty and
It
grimy.
never reacted.
by getting
Just-
nothing.
Is that all you got? Is that it?
It's kind of like when you're a parent with toddlers. So I'm out of this, but Alan, you're in it. I
Thick of
mean,
it.
after a while, you just sit
Into
there
the thick of it.
they're throwing stuff at you, and you sit down, and you got to Lego up your butt,
It's
and
the
then
thick of it.
you're just like, this is all you got.
What you got?
One of them throws up in front of you. You're like, that's it. I can handle this.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
This is what I
a
signed
Tuesday.
up for.
Yeah.
Moving right along. Yep, this is life.
Yeah. No, my son's gotten to that point where like he's like, Dad, I'm strong. He's 6. He's like, Dad, I'm strong. He's like, does this hurt? I'm like, nah.
You got to keep him in his place. You can't make him think he's more than one.
Not at all.
The best is when you let them just punch as hard as they absolutely can, punch you in the gut, and
Yeah.
they end up hurting themselves.
Mhm.
Like that's and the look on their face, they're like, "You're made of steel." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, there's some fluffy layers there."
Just
Yeah,
a few.
just few fluff, but yeah. Yeah, for the first time ever, my son learned about arm wrestling. So he asked me if he wanted to arm wrestle. That was fun.
Always feel like big man on campus. We throw them completely to the ground.
It was
You
that
asked
mean.
for this.
I sat there and he ended up going 2 hands, trying to, and I just kept still.
Yeah.
And then
I wanna let my kids
The
win
whole
this time.
body into it.
I just slowly went over and just like, you lose. Sorry. It's one of the rules I taught my son very early on, that he plays against me in anything competitive, I'm never going to let him win, but I'm going to be very, very happy the day he beats me. Like
Yeah.
even like things like chess, like I taught him how to play chess, and even though it's like he has not come close to ever getting close to beating me at this point in chess at all. He knows how the pieces move. That's pretty much it. He has no theory at all.
Yeah.
And I told him from day one, like, don't get discouraged. You're not going to win for a while, but keep trying.
You'll
And,
get there.
Yeah, I said, but I'm not going to let you win. And I told him that I'm never going to let you win. Like, I want you to earn a win. And I'm not trying to be mean about it. Like, I'm just not.
Yeah.
And we
How's
have a good life
You were
lesson around it.
teaching- yeah,
It's not like
life
I'm being mean to them. I'm just like, hey, listen, this is how it's going to be. Like, you're going to learn how to be better.
Like my nephews know, like if you compete against me, I will dial back, but I'm not going to lose on purpose.
Yeah. None of that.
I
was on
will
purpose, though.
dial back to the point.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Grandmasters. I never played against a grandmaster. I played against an IM, and I have beat. When I was in 8th grade, I beat an IM, international master.
Oh wow.
When I was in 8th grade, because I played. I was a geek when I was in middle school. Then when I went to high school, I tried to be cool and didn't do all that stuff. But I was in middle school. I was in the chess club, and
Had
there's
the
an IM.
books, everything.
Yeah, I played Magic the Gathering. I was a super dork.
I love Magic.
Yeah, but and then when I got to high school, I was like, no, I'm too cool for all that, and I didn't do it anymore. But then I got back into chess as I got older. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, but anyway. So
Again, my nephews, basketball. They all love basketball. I'm like, I'm bigger than you. I'm taller than you. I'm strong. Well, I'm gonna beat you. Okay. Because you're not gonna come to the outside. Correct. All right, I'm gonna win. Okay. But if
Yeah.
I get that rebound, just know
Guaranteed points.
gamed over with, like at the end. And I'm gonna let you do everything you can do within your power besides hit me in my cojones to win this game. You're going to lose.
Yep.
And I'm gonna joke on you for it because that's just what we do in our culture.
yeah,
If you're from the 757 from Newport News, you're getting joked on when you lose. I don't care what it is.
Yeah. But made it stronger.
Yeah. You only lasted 7 seconds and I lasted 8.
Man, there's nothing my boss could say in the workplace that'll ever get me down. Because they'll come soft. They'll be like, Ian, this really wasn't your best work. And I'm like, that's all you got? Like, I didn't even try here. It's very obvious that I took what you told me. I was like, I don't really want to do it, but I'll give you something. I made something, I'm turning it in. I handed you a pile of garbage. You have so much opportunity here to give me shit, and you're going to go with, looks like it's not your best work. You do better. Go back to your office and do better.
think of a better insult. Per my email.
Per my email. I don't give a damn. That's kind of how Moraine was with Lance. She's like, hey,
I give my boss hell.
Do better.
I walk in and just give him crap all the time. I don't think he's ever given me crap, but I go into his office all the time, and he asks like, "How things going?" It's like, "No, it's like be a lot better if you weren't screwing things up for me, man." Like,
God, you have one of those too?
Uh, we have a really good working relationship though, so it's great.
I got mine thinks we do too.
What'd you say?
Mine thinks we do too.
Yeah.
My branch leader thinks I'm his best friend. And I'm not saying he's not a cool guy, but
No,
I
I
know
mean,
he
no,
doesn't listen.
I do thoroughly. I mean, like my boss, like to hang out with him and stuff.
I mean, I would
It's-
definitely
it's
hang out with him.
different in my field than because I worked in retail banking before, so it's a little different too in that than it is in
Yeah.
our world because it's a boss, but it's not a boss because they don't pay me.
Yes.
I'm not gonna get it down. So
Yeah, you're good. I understand.
It's kind of like the relationship with Moraine and Lan right now. You could tell there's things about each other they respect, but instead of coming out and saying, "Hey, I respect this about you," they're still nudging each other, feeling each other out.
sure. So then after all the pranks, it goes back to Moraine's point of view. Moraine's concerned that that she can't bring him, that's quote unquote, bring him properly to heal. There's her problem number one. Trying to get
I don't know if
Glenn
that's
to
ever
heal.
going to happen.
With any man. With any man.
Yeah. Soon they reach a little village named Ravidia. I can't pronounce these names. It is the R word, Ravine. It's a ravine. Where Moraine continues to search for Avine in Ravine. Av
and Rav for short.
Yeah. Yeah, it is here that she finds the woman, but the child was born 30 miles from Dragon Mount and a week too
Disappointing.
early. So
And-
after all this work,
And that lady's trying to name her bed and breakfast the White Tower.
yeah,
And it's like, you think that's a good idea? Moraine's like, yeah, go for it. That's going to be great. I got to leave.
Yeah.
it's like the White Tower restaurant in England.
No, that's White Castle.
No, in England, there's a White Tower restaurant, and on Twitter, they have a Twitter profile. And then, like, once Wheel of Time started blowing up, they started getting tagged on everything, and they had to make official message like, "We have nothing to do with Wheel of Time. We never read the books. There is literally a White Tower down the street that we named a restaurant after. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but you tag us in everything." Like,
Which probably just caused people to tag them more.
yeah, it did.
Yeah.
That was great.
Hey, response, the White Tower, they're trying to throw us
It's the
off.
White Tower. So if you ever want to go to the White Tower restaurant in England, apparently there is one. I think it's outside of Manchester.
It's People Chester,
Yeah,
Alan. Get it right?
people. Okay, I'm sorry.
Or Persons Chester.
Person's Chester. So after leaving Ravinda, they continue their journey until a group of assassins.
Rather large group this go round.
Yeah. They're not assassins.
Yeah.
This
What do you
large
say?
group.
Brigands.
Yeah, they're brigands.
Yeah.
They are looking for opportunity. They just want to rob some people and keep it
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah, and they roll up, and it just seems this is not how brigands do things. They don't talk. Like, I don't care. Like she just
Because
writes.
they
up
don't
and
care
goes,
about you.
"Hey,
They don't
guys,
need to know where you're going.
Listen, I'm Aes Sedai. You gotta turn around. Like that doesn't happen. They attack first. Like, but anyway,
Yeah.
that's But yeah, Moraine. While this is happening, Moraine's asking Lan whether he's allergic to wasps because I guess she's planning her next fun thing for the night. It's like, I don't want to kill the guy. Like, hey Lan, are you allergic to wasps? Because
And he looks at her with horror. And she's like, "Oh, really? He must be." And then she's like, "Oh, wait. Is that an arrow coming out of
Yeah.
his chest?
Shink.
yeah,
What?
Not this sword."
Although kudos to Moraine, like how quickly she's able to channel, and she puts a shield of air around Lan before she shields herself,
right,
and she's not sure why she did that, but
right. And then she
Who
wraps the
cares?
assassin up with air, and immediately
Like
Bakuma
that.
and Reen, right, 2 arrows right into him.
yeah,
And she feels bad. She's like, I didn't mean to assist in the killing. Like, I was trying to hold him so we could talk, not So
Yeah.
they
Nah, you
executed.
knew what you were doing. She was like, target practice, guys. They were like, yes, we.
So was it before this or after this? It's before this. We skipped over the brigands, didn't we?
These are the brigands.
No.
No,
The big
there's
group.
two run-ins.
You
Big-
are
big groups
skipping.
after
There
this.
are two runs. So the big group is the one that they catch on the road, and
Right.
kind of scares them off.
then
And Moraine's
Rand-
upset. Like if they attacked,
well,
I could have like done something about them. But like,
Lan is like, we're gonna fight, and they're like, yeah, you can fight, but we're gonna take all. We just want all the jewels. And
are
they're
they
like,
really
yeah.
brigands? Or were they hired by someone to come?
Nah, these ones were actually brigands. These
Seems
ones,
sus.
this group, nah.
Assassins.
This group is like 50 people. They're not.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't.
Sorry, I just got into that.
That's about right.
No, the second group or second person.
The second person was an
run-in
assassin.
Was the assassin.
100%. I'm talking about the first group.
Nah, the
We
first
just skipped
group-
over all that.
Yeah, the first group. I was there, but not fully there. That group was definitely there for the
They were just
advantage
looking
of
to rob.
catching people on the roadside.
Yeah.
Because one guy was like,
Yeah.
I told you she was an Aes Sedai. Like, we shouldn't be messing with her. And then literally stuff just started happening to spook people off, and they all started running.
Yeah.
If they were
Brain starts,
well
like
trained,
channeling. They're like,
yeah,
"No, we're out.
if they were well trained, if they actually had a legitimate agenda, they would not have
Mhm.
run off like that. You
Mhm.
know, at the end of the day, it was more along the lines of,
Right.
but we do know that the second guy said he told us to take her out. He told me to take her out first, and I didn't listen. And it was a
Yeah.
guy.
Well, they know
So
him. Let's backtrack. They know the guy.
they do know. Yes, in the second instance, they know the guy. They don't know the guy that hired the guy.
No, they don't. But they know the guy because he's the same guy that came out when Land got attacked by the 6 people in the previous chapter and said, "You have the Dark Ones on luck."
Yeah,
And it's
Yeah.
the same guy. And he's like, "You
Yeah.
do have
We
the
don't
Dark Ones
know
on
who
luck.
hired him.
If you had moved just the right way, it would have been right through your heart." Yeah. But yeah, they
Magic.
just like, why? Why would
Really?
you do this? Like they asked him that. I was like, gold. Like, why else?
Money.
Like money, dude. They paid me.
yeah.
And now, before any of y'all shrug at that, okay, you got to put in perspective. If it's a pile of gold coins, let's say that's the equivalent of like, let's put a number that most people it's almost just out of reach of even figuring out how you'd spend it. Let's call it $1 billion. If somebody offered you $1 billion, like what would be on the list of things you'd be willing to do for $1 billion?
It's like the whole thing. Like,
dollars?
I'll give you $1
There's
million
a lot I would do for
every
$1
time you
billion.
push the button, and then I'll give you $1 million every time you push the button. I start pushing the button, it's like, and then every time you push the button, someone random dies.
Right.
You said at random. Does that mean random as in I know who they are, or
Just random. All right, I'm pushing.
1 out of 7 billion. Odds of me knowing him pretty slim. And if I do know him, odds of me liking him also slim. Yeah. No. Anyways, for $1 billion, there's a lot I would do, and I'm fairly well. I'm fairly blessed. My needs are
Yeah.
met. But for $1 billion,
or 30 grand? There's a lot I'd do.
there's a list of things I'd do for 30.
It goes back to the whole Winston Churchill thing. Was it the
Yeah, that
Ferris
lady.
Churchill quote? Well, he was talking to the Duchess of York. Was it? I might be butchering who it was he was talking to, but he was at a dinner party, and he asked her for £1 million, British currency. Would you sleep with me? And she said, "Sure, for $1 million." And she goes, "How about £1?" And she says, "What do I look like, a whore?" He says, "Well, we've already established that. Now we're just negotiating." $1 million whore or $1 whore, it's still a whore.
Before you laugh too hard, we're all whores.
Yeah, we're all whores. Yeah.
I'm driving to work to be a government
the
whore
old-
tomorrow.
And I'm not sure how true that story is, but it's something they do teach in some economics classes, just that like at some point everyone has a price.
Yeah.
Yeah. But some people that don't. I think like Elon Musk doesn't have a price.
Everybody
Um,
has a price.
I don't know if he does. The richest person in the world. Like why does he care? Like, I don't know.
I think he cares.
I think the guy's crazy, but Wait, Spotify. We cleared. No, he doesn't. Does he own Spotify? No, that's Jeff Bezos. We're good.
Okay.
All right. Sure. Making sure we don't get any problems with the podcast. Yeah. Anyway, he's crazy. And I don't own any of his cars. So let's see. Yeah. So this whole assassin thing, pretty crazy. And Moraine offers to heal as well.
Aggressively heals Lan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shock to the system.
And he actually reacts, and she's like, "Yes, he reacted to it." But like,
And maybe
barely.
plants
barely.
a little, not the same as a bond, but plants a little connection to him. Plants a
So we've
little
learned.
tracker.
What, there's from no. This is from book 1.
Yeah.
This is from
Well, I
book
know
1.
there was the coin thing.
No. Remember in book 1
with the
when
healing.
Nynaeve,
Oh, yeah,
when
with the
Nynaeve
girls.
finds them and he says, "Who have you healed amongst our group?" She's like, "I healed Gawain." He goes, "Yeah, because once you heal someone, you can track someone."
But my point is, Lan is aware of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it means she did anything more strongly or they were just destined to be bonded, that they had some sort of connection beyond the bond
Yeah.
that Aes Sedai can create. But he comments not long after about, and I don't think it's a lustful, I can't get her out of my mind. But certainly from that moment going forward, he's constantly like, I'm just so aware of her.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she also tries to heal the guy that they shot. They're like, "Why?"
He's
She's
dead.
like, "So we can go to justice and do justice." Like, no.
Well, and then she
We
also
question him.
sent him, and she went through his stuff, found a few things, but they let the horse go before she was
Uh-huh.
able to go through that. So, because I want to know who sent them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
learn a little more that Lan is a bit of a softie. He lets the horse
Mhm.
go so the horse can fend for itself until somebody finds him.
And they go through stuff and they find the gold and they refuse to take it. They're like, "Nope, we're not taking that guy's money."
I'd have
That
snapped you all up
No comment.
real well that night.
We've talked enough about where we're from. I
Yes.
think everybody knows we're get rich or die trying.
I found a wallet. It was empty of all the money already. All right.
Mhm.
Here's your wallet back.
Look, at least I'm giving you your debit cards and your ID. I'm gonna do you that much favor. I'm saving you a trip to the DMV and a trip to the bank.
I had
If I lost my wallet, I'd be okay if somebody took $100 out of it, but I got everything else.
I am grateful.
I would be okay with that.
My roommate in college, he wasn't from Newport News, and he's from the country. And he was walking outside of our apartment late one night, walking back from a bar, and some guy walked up to him and asked for change for a 10. And he pulls his wallet out, and the guy immediately pulls a pew, like gun out,
Yep.
jabs at his ribs, and says, "How would you give me the whole thing?" Him being from the country and not scared of firearms at all, just sits there and looks the guy dead in the eyes, goes, "Man, can I just give you the cash? Like, I don't want to go to the DMV tomorrow, dude. I do not want." And the guy just sits there and looks at him like stunned that the guy's even negotiating. And he's like, "Yeah, just give me the cash." And he's like, "Here's $10. Like, that's all I got in cash. Like, but please, like,
Yeah,
nothing else is worth anything to you in
Yeah.
here. Like,
Yeah.
like,
That's
I
worth it.
don't want to do it, man."
I give you my debit and credit cards. I'm canceling them tomorrow. If you kill
I
me,
see
you
For the
know.
door, like as soon as I go walk inside, I'm canceling. I'm like, just take the cash. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll even go to the ATM. I'll withdraw an extra 20 for you. Clearly you need it.
yeah. Just don't take my wallet, man. I don't want to sit the DMV. I think the guy actually felt for him for a second. I was like, all right, yeah, that does kind of suck. Just give the cash.
Oh no, I mean I'll shoot you, but I ain't sending you to the fucking DMV. Like, no,
Yeah.
man, I ain't gonna do that to you.
I didn't do that.
I'm just gonna make you bleed a little bit. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
torture you.
Yeah, DMV's rough. Yeah. Marine checks the pouch for the. Let's see. Where was that? In my notes.
The horse just left. They're moving on.
Marine checks to see if there's any like notes or anything like that, or anything that she can find. There's nothing. they remove the arrow from Land's shoulder, and Moraine heals Land. Yeah, gets a little reaction. That's the end of this chapter. So
It's a good one. It's a good one.
it's a good one. Any of your thoughts or anything from all this? It's a fun chapter. It's fun seeing Moraine and Lan in the beginning. I enjoy this interaction between them before they're Warder and I like before they're bonded.
Well, like I said, I was enjoying this until you mentioned that we're basically at the end of the book, and I wasn't paying attention. When I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, we're almost out of this.
Yeah.
I would love a lot of this.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it while I'm here. It's neat.
Enjoy what you can. Yeah. Take what you can get, man.
It's been life.
Yeah.
Lately.
All right. So final chapter is chapter 22, Keeping Custom. So they reach Jachin. Lan bids Moraine a farewell and takes off towards the palace because he's there on a mission as well. So this is all Lan chapter. He's going to try to find this woman who's been causing all these problems and all these assassins and trying to kill him because she wants to raise the golden crane. And it doesn't quite.
But he gets super close. They welcome him in. He gets a summons to go see her, and he goes, "No, I'm claiming traveler's rights. I need to rest."
Yep.
Like he rushes there just to be like, "Nah."
He's playing the game.
He's playing. He thinks he's playing the game. That's the funny part. He thinks he has any cards to play.
Yeah.
He's not at the table playing cards. He's serving drinks and snacks to the people playing the game.
Yeah.
He thinks he's playing the game.
Okay. So yeah, he's at the inn, I guess, drinking, and then or I guess not drinking, they're just hanging out, right?
Well, there is a little bit.
They go inside the barracks.
Right.
Yeah, I would say he's in a more official room. It's not an inn.
It's barracks. Yeah.
Part of the
He
complex
lands
there.
in the end after the fact, but he goes to the barracks with the rest of the crew because his objective to make sure that the people under him are at least satisfied. And of course, Miss Prithpants wants his own room. And Land's like, I can sleep anywhere. I can sleep on the ground. So this is perfect for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, it. I like the Valkyrie.
Yeah.
And I like hearing about the structure. I don't know that I'd be able to keep up with all of it because they have so many different caveats to the when and the where and the why and the how you do things.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very militaristic in that sense. But then you kind of get that opportunity for leadership growth with the coming years because you can easily I lost my train of thought.
But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know where you're going.
It was geared towards seeing the development. I lost my train of thought.
Okay. So anyway, once Lan gets to the barracks, he changes something more suitable. Eden sends a messenger to him to summon him, and that's when he responds back, "Traveler's rights. I need to recover." So upon hearing this, Eden sends a note to him saying, "Come to me, sweetling. Come to me now." And Lan takes the note and throws it in the fire. He's like, "Meh."
Games.
Okay, so going back to that train of thought, you can see where when Lan and Moraine finally hook up with the others in the crew, where his mind goes with his level of protection, how particular he is, and also you can see the shift in his demeanor as he relaxes, if you can call it that, more when he's around Moraine when they're in that situation.
Sure.
And we also, looking at his relationship with Nynaeve, things are kind of, after the interaction with his lessers and then the interaction with this woman, I kind of feel for him a little bit more and understand more why he did things the way he did with Nynaeve.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So finally, after all this, I can't pronounce Mistress Romera comes to
Mhm.
ask if he is rested enough to be received by Prince Breeze. Breeze.
We'll use that name. I like it.
Yeah.
Brizzy.
Brizzy. Lan is led to a large formal hall with Kandori lords and ladies, and they're all, hanging out. The women are wearing kaisan, the men are wearing hadoris. They're all formal, and Lan greets everybody and says hello, and then the prince leads Lan to Eden, who's there, and she immediately kneels down.
No, he starts a conversation between him and his son. So
Yeah.
he greets Lan. He gives Lan time to kind of collect himself and to gather. And then the boy steps in, does a formal bow, Lan returns.
Ask a million questions.
And he's like, do you remember that time when you were 8? And then, of course, he does the contrast. When I was 8, and of course, Lan asked the question of the father, the prince. Like, don't you remember you were 8? And then in his mind, he goes, when I was 8, I was becoming a freaking warrior. Let this kid have a childhood. We'll give him a childhood because we're working hard for that childhood.
He indulges him and answers his questions, and
he does. Yeah.
And then
did you fight Aiel? Are they 10 feet tall? Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see Tarval? He's like, I can't bring it to him.
And he's like,
all
boy,
these cities the same size of the city we're in right now. Like,
Dad's like, boy, he's got somebody to talk to. He's got business to handle.
Yeah. And that's where Eden comes in and immediately kneels down, takes his hand, and swears fealty to Lan.
And everybody's like,
the golden crane, Kandor rides from up here.
Good move on her part.
And Lan's like, no, the kingdom's dead. There is no king. Like that's been lost.
That'd be like people having a meeting and just declaring that, since I'm from a block away, growing up down there, that now I'm in charge of the Woodsong posse down in the Woodsong apartments that got raised to build Heritage High School. It's gone.
Yeah.
It ain't coming back.
No.
There ain't nothing left.
No.
I mean, even if they did it, it's just a title that will probably just get me in trouble for holding it. It don't come with nothing but trouble.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so out of it. I don't even know the kings and Newport News anymore.
But I only risk mention that one because that one is definitely not coming back.
Yeah.
It's gone.
I know the Deep Creek Boys are dead too. That was another one that was from downtown, but they called themselves Deep Creek Boys, which was weird.
But so the sketchiest of gang activity is actually moved into Williamsburg.
Oh, really?
So they have task force. Yeah, if you got any law enforcement friends that work into these task force, talk to them. It's always where on the edge of where you have the low income and the high income, where they're clashing, where that money is fueling. It's
you mean Richmond? You mean the capital?
Richmond is an odd blend. You have different
strange.
pockets of it. Yeah.
Richmond's weird.
Yeah. It's once you know it, it's easy to navigate.
Yeah. Richmond's like one of those cities, like you can literally walk 2 streets and it's like the nicest place, and 2 streets goes bad, then goes nice again, then goes bad. Like there's not clear cuts in Richmond. It's really weird.
There's some streets when you pass some guy on the opposite side of the street, you do the upwards head nod. And then there's some you got to do the downward head nod. And if you get it wrong, it's risky. If you're not sure, just wait to see what they do and respond in kind.
Pretty much.
So I always thought the upper head nod's like, what's up? And the downward's like, you know what I know. You know.
Right? But look, if they give you, that's what I'm saying. If they give you the downward nod, they're letting you know, be like, you know what you're getting into.
Up.
And then you're like, I know, and I'm gonna keep on walking.
For any country folk that listen to us and never been to a city, if anybody from the inner city comes up to you and says, hey, let me talk to you for a second, do not talk to them. Keep walking. You about to get robbed. Yeah, tips from the Will Reads. So after this, Eden starts laying it on thick. She's talking about all the things that she wants to do, and she's like, "Oh, you're still unwed. You know, I got a daughter
for him, not to him.
You know, I got a daughter." She's like, That's just gross. Like I've been I slept with you. Like, what do you mean? You're trying to like pawn off? You're like, it's up to me to decide who my daughter marries.
Exactly, and
Like-
she's right there in age.
Yeah.
So in this moment, I was thinking, we don't have much left in this book. How do Lan and Moiraine finally come together? Where Lan was a chapter ago, I'm like, there's no way he rushes into and just goes, "Okay, I'll be your warder."
Where is
Now I also know why he had some sympathy and empathy for Loyal.
Mhm.
When Loyal was running from marriage, he's like, "No, we need to take care of Loyal. We need, as long as he wants to keep running, we're gonna help him run."
Yeah, that makes
We
more
gotta-
sense.
we gotta
now.
cover
I didn't
my
even
boy.
think about Loyal. I did not think about Loyal at all.
We're gonna cover him. But now I could see Lan being like, "Oh my gosh, I don't want this decided for me. How do I get out of this?" And then he's gonna try to run away, like in the middle of the night. But also Moiraine is going to run away in the middle of the night, and they trip over each other. She's like, "What are you doing?" He said, "What are you doing?" And then he spills the beans. She's like, "Well, you want to be my
Take
warder?"
these 3 beans and
Yeah,
come up with
red
the
pill or
words.
blue pill?
She's embracing Sidene. She trips. He trips. She accidentally channels.
Accidentally.
And like the weaves go into. I was like, shit, that just happened. This is awkward.
Yeah, you sound like some 15-year-old Southern Baptist girl trying to explain to her daddy how she accidentally got pregnant.
We have a friend from high school.
So I
that
was
went
getting
to-
out of the shower and I had left the door unlocked. So he had just come in to go to the bathroom. And I was like, whoa.
I'm
And
not going to
then-
mention names, but we have a friend that we went to high school with that went to Liberty University, which is a very conservative university. It has a lot of rules around dating and all sorts of stuff like that. And he knocked up his girlfriend while in college. She also went to Liberty. And the amount of BS that came out of his mouth, I'm not going to say names, but like, I was like, that's not what happened. like,
It was an accident.
that's not what happened. It's okay. I'm not judging you at all, but that's not what happened. So, yeah.
I just blew up the litter box. Ooh.
So yeah, gets betrothed, and Lan refuses, thinking that's disgusting and horrified. But then she's like, "Well, if you're not gonna take my daughter, at least you're gonna take me tonight." And that's kind of this chapter ends. So,
Yeah, because I don't know that he necessarily got betrothed. It was mentioned, but
yeah, But
she
she's
started
like-
fingering his hair that was in his hand.
like,
Like,
well,
hey,
I'll just do this instead.
you can lay beside me and undress me.
Mhm.
Slowly.
She just said some insults to him too. She's like, "Oh man, your face is not as pretty as it was when you were
You're
younger.
going to be ugly when you get old.
You're gonna be ugly when you get old." But those hands, I still like those hands. Come over here, undress me for me. Take these buttons off. Jordan, you dog. So
I like his style. And I'll leave it at that. Let wandering minds imagine.
yeah. Any final thoughts?
I had a thought today, unrelated to this particular book. It's more
Thoughts are
related
great.
to how Jordan didn't finish writing his final books. And the final books were written by Sanderson,
Mhm.
based strongly off of notes, of which he had a ton. So, you know, people can speculate that, okay, this is the gist of what Robert Jordan wanted to do to finish. But in a
Mountains of notes.
Brandon Sanderson style. But here's the truth of it. You can still only look at the final books as just another possible turning of the wheel. And even though he had all of these notes, if Jordan would have lived another year, another 2 years, what might have happened in his life to change the way he wanted to write these characters? What if he lived another 4 years, was able to write a couple more books, but in the time frame, he lost his wife, or something horribly tragic, or something dark that took him to a place where he was betrayed by somebody he trusted. So then he could take those notes and throw them out,
Yeah.
and write a twist to one of our main characters in the end.
Yeah.
And had Jordan lived, it might have been completely different books. And
Or
we'll
HBO
we'll never
offered
know.
them a ton of money to make it into a series before it was finished, and then he decided just not to write anymore because he's making a ton of money off HBO money. And,
I don't think he'd have
that's,
gone that
that's
route.
George R. R. Martin. I'm sorry.
But I mean, we We don't really know. We could say all the confidence with all the
Yeah.
notes that it's as
Yeah,
close to what it
RJ.
would have
Yeah,
been.
some of the parts from the last 3 books are like there's large chunks that are 100% RJ's words.
Sure, but until released, you're telling me you don't have artistic friends or friends that write, friends that paint, friends that express themselves through their art. That when things in the real life happen, and it doesn't have to be bad things; it could be really good things as well. Like
Yeah.
they can change their direction and where they're going on a project because of their new changed perspective on life because of influences. So just by him living longer, things would have changed. You can't assume it would have got more refined and be a better version of the same thing. It could have been radically different. You never know.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Yeah, I'm not drunk or high enough for this conversation. It's gonna get down that rabbit hole where you're in the verge.
I could
of
go
like,
full
what if?
multiverse with you, but yeah.
What if? Yeah. Yeah. RJ had plenty of things in his notes that he changed for the books, and yeah, it's wild. Yeah, the amount of stuff that he changed over the course of writing these books is insane. Because there's even things within the books that we've read so far that he changed midway through the series because fans respond to certain things certain ways, and we'll get to those when the reveals come out. But like he was like fans were like onto him, so he retconned and
Would change up on it.
it changed up the entire path of certain characters.
Oh, you
because-
think you know me?
You think you know? No,
You
that's
think-
not what happens.
You think there's a formula to this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Check out his first manuscript, The Eye of the World in Charleston. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Any final thoughts before we get a favorite character?
No.
Okay. Favorite character.
Ian?
Who was the older guy? Is it Bakuma?
Bakuma. Yeah.
Coma, yeah.
Bakuma.
Yeah. I just like the part where the two guys were ready to scrap, and he knew he had two young warriors that neither one was going to back down, and they could find a way to like seriously hurt each other, but he found a way to get them to compete and get out of their system and keep everybody alive.
Mhm.
Give him some props for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to play that game with you.
Well, speed game, I have a chance at.
I was about to say, I'm kidding. You're faster.
Let's say a speed game, I got a chance.
Yeah.
I'm not as fast as I used to be. Not even close. But if we're throwing around weights, I mean, I'll play that game with you just so I can take my turn and then watch you and be like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Dude, the arthritis in my right knee, like I just would be slow. I'm an old man.
I'll have a knee cracking contest with you. I can get my right knee going pretty good.
I get my wrist.
Mm-mm. My favorite character would have to be Lan. Is kind of like the cop-out answer,
That's a good answer, though.
but Lan is a very good answer
That's pretty quality.
because we're seeing the one thing that I was afraid we would not get from Lan when I first met him, which is character and understanding of his character. Like when we first met Lan, he was roaming in his multicolored coat, stalking in the shadow, and kind of giving his opinion here and there, but it wasn't like a fully engaged person.
Mhm.
And right now, what we're getting is a king, legitimately a king, in control of thousands, if not tens of thousands of subjects.
If he chose
He
to,
does, and he doesn't
people
even
would
want
follow
it.
him.
Yeah. So
Let me change mine, and not to take away from Bakuma, but I'm gonna go Moraine. And this is something I thought about a lot too as I was reading this.
Okay.
You look at Lan, especially this last chapter, and we see, like you said, all these people would follow him. He's wise, great strength, very principled, so much potential. And yet, because he's so rigid in what he believes and in the traditions he follows, somebody who is wise in that, but willing to take advantage of him, could control him and could take advantage of him.
Mhm.
So flashing forward to eventually the life he lives with Moraine, in a sense, saves him from that, saves him from somebody that might take control of him, might manipulate him.
I
might
don't
use
know.
him.
I feel like he's gonna
Gives
get
him purpose.
his way in this situation, and then he's gonna choose to get rid of it by going from Rain.
Maybe.
Oh, is Lan RJ's Aragorn? The king who
You
looks
can
like-
make the comparison, but
Sure.
they're not side by side. They're not.
People compare Moraine to Gandalf, the wizard who comes into the village and takes the kid away.
No, this will sound horrible.
Willy Wonka.
Lan's character, if Lan makes it through all of these books, and at the end he has a crown on his head and he's ruling over his kingdom again up there in what was formerly the Blight once it's defeated, then that'll be a bad ending for Lan. Lan's ending should be death in defending
I see Moraine
someone
going.
or some
"You
people
want
that he
some
loves.
candy?"
What was
Yeah.
that?
I said I can see Moraine like, "Hey, you want some candy?" Follow
Oh,
me."
trying to lure him.
Yeah.
Trying to lure him along.
But no, there isn't going to be a crowning ceremony for Lan, and if there is, it's got to end with tragedy for Lan. If
Yeah.
it doesn't, then
Charlie, you
somebody
said
messed
this is
up.
The best I can do, so let's go.
Yeah.
That's Moraine with Lan.
I think the real hero of these chapters is the pond itself, just for playing such an important role and the pond water.
It did bring them together.
It's like,
There was
Okay.
an inside joke
Yeah.
somewhere.
yeah. There's what was it? It just reminds me that time when we were kids, and there's a girl. I think it was for a lifeguard, and she wondered what the smell was, and you made up all this BS because it was pond scum.
Yeah.
And you went on for like 30 minutes. It sounded
the
like the most
science.
intelligent
Yeah.
scientific answer to what the smell was. And she was just on the edge of her seat, eating every single word Ian said. And I look over at him, just like gave you a look, and he's like, I have no idea. I'm just making this shit up.
I still do that from time to time.
Like, I look
Speak
over
with
to you, I was
confidence,
like,
throwing a few
what
big
the
words,
fuck
and
are
most
you
people go, "Oh,
well, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, that's not right. But you're making it sound convincing, but that's not
Alan
right.
almost pulled out a book." Or back then, was it the
if you didn't have Google
Encyclopedia
back then,
Britannica?
yeah, it's like
You had the full series. Go to the shelf. Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
no, we had that hotline you can call. I can't remember what it was, but there was a phone number that you could call before Google, and I think it was Auburn University, their library system, and it was for the students, but it got out.
It's like an internal network.
It was like it was a phone number, like it was monitored 24 hours a day, and you could call it, and the librarians at the university library would go and look it up for you in their books and then read you back the answer. And this is before Google. We'd be drunk at a bar and drunkenly call them and ask them the most ridiculous questions, trying to stump them. Yeah. I don't know if they still have that phone number. Not Google's around, but it was.
If it
was
exists, that's a more reliable source than Googling these days. Honestly, I've been in the
was.
library in Auburn. That's
Yeah.
it's
I
a good
remember
academic school.
I still remember the first time I stumped them. They could not find the answer, and I remember the question was, it was like, how come sometimes when guys piss you get the shivers? Like, that's what's
yeah.
the medical condition for that? And then he just sat there and goes, hold on, and they put me on hold for like 30 minutes. They came back and goes, we don't know. Like, I was like, yes, I stumped them. Like,
Heat
and now
leaving
you
the
can Google
body.
it. There actually is a scientific term for that. But anyways, fun times. I'm sure they like the challenge. They probably did. I mean, it's college kids that are volunteering and doing this. I'm sure they like the challenge. I think it was part of the job. So next week we'll be finishing this book. So five chapters, 23, 24, 25, 26, and the epilogue. So the Evening Star, making use of invisibility, an answer, and when
What's the
to
question?
surrender, and when to surrender.
Mm.
That's the final chapter, is when to surrender, and then the epilogue. It's just called epilogue.
Hmm.
And then it's on the crossroads of Twilight. Yay.
And there was much
Let me tell you
rejoicing.
how excited I am about.
We're gonna make it fun.
Yeah, we will. Crossroads.
We won't get derailed one time during that whole book. It'd be nothing but Wheel of Time.
Luckily, it's the
Every
shortest
episode.
book. I mean, the shortest book in the main series. It's a short book. So, anyways, yeah. So that's what we're doing next week. So how can be found is at thewillreads.com. You can find all sorts of things that aren't tangents. But if you do want tangents, go to Discord because we have lots of tangents there. We have memes and like cooking stuff and
More
pets.
than on this podcast.
Yeah, more tangents than here. There's Cosmere stuff, there's Star Wars stuff, there's all sorts of fun things there. Red flags. What's the red flags for? Oh, that
Probably
you really
me saying
enjoyed
we're gonna stay on
Crossroads.
topic.
No, that she really enjoyed Crossroads of Twilight red flags.
Oh, knew there was something off.
Nobody enjoys Crossroads. Maybe he didn't like it. I really enjoyed it. I guess.
Now I'm committed to finding a way to enjoy it. Every
Crossroads
single
is-
time, I'm going to try and
but I
convince
love
Alan
it.
that they're the best chapters ever.
Yeah, it's not a bad. Okay, so going back to Crossroads. Crossroads is not a bad book. I'll give you that. It's bad compared to everything else. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. Anyway, we can be found at the website. Go find us there. Find links to everything. Like, subscribe, do the cool reviews. I might read them if I get the notification that it punched through. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And I get them like really, really, really way later. Like those reviews I read tonight were from back in December. Like, so I got the email today. I don't know, but so I might read them, and I don't go check unless I get a push notification about it because I'm too lazy to go try to find all the different places that reviews are written.
Mhm.
So it is what it is, and that's all I got for this week, guys. So
Until next time.
I'm gonna pause for a second and say, if you don't expect all of what we give, feel free to exit the podcast and
Oh,
peace.
okay, bye.
Thank you for watching The Wheel Reads.
until next time.
Okay, bye.
Get your Coast Guard certified life-saving
Sure.
device ready
Sure.
and strapped on.
Oh, where are we going tonight?
What kind of strap on you talking about? Sure.